Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to General Council for April 23rd, 2024. Identification of media. I don't see any. Before we get started, let us please take a moment of silence to honor the community members we have recently lost. A moment, please. Thank you. So we have some presentation of plaques for retirees for today. Our first one I'm going to do is Donna Henhock, but she's unable to attend today. For food service worker at the Iroquois Lodge. She was 28 years of service. Retirement date was February 26, 2024. Words to describe Donna: positive energy, strong work ethic, punctual, reliable, helpful, kind-hearted, compassion, empathy, dedicated, and worked well with others. I will miss Donna's presence in our residents' home areas where she took the time to really listen to our elders. We wish Donna a happy and healthy retirement. We know she will find a new adventure to fill her days soon. And that was from Andrew Joseph, the lodge administrator. So she's not here. So again, thank you for all your dedication, Donna Henhock. Next, we have Floretta Hill, the FASD coordinator, child and youth from Health Service Department, 25 years of service. Retirement was March 18th, 2024. Words to describe Floretta: welcoming, warm, good work ethic, empathy, laughter, and one of a kind. Have to agree with that. I will miss Floretta's warmth the most. She takes the time to connect with the people she works alongside. She has so much knowledge and is willing to share it with others. Anyone who knows Floretta better off for it, and she will be missed by her team and clients. Enjoy this time with your family and Ron. Our door is always open, and we look forward to hearing about all your adventures in this new chapter. Jessie Cartshore, and she is the portfolio lead for child and youth health. Yay, Floretta. Thanks again. Yes. And I have to say, Floretta, Hazel said she looks too young to retire.
Congratulations, Floretta.
And Audrey Paulus Bombery always says congratulations. She's away at a conference. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So again, thank you to Floretta and Donna for all the hard work and dedication. So everybody can hear you. That's okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, just speak.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to thank my team at Health Services. I had the best team ever. I don't know why I left, but My husband's already been retired, so I wanted to spend some time with him also, because I think he's getting bored, but I'm gonna keep him busy. But yeah, I'd like to thank Jessie for all her hard work, what she's done in the past. I'm glad Deb Jonathan's on board now. I really enjoyed working with Deb at the schools. I enjoyed working in the schools. I know I had other jobs prior to full-time jobs, like doing research studies down here and many of those things. And then working at the youth lodge for council, and then it went over to Gunukrisha. And yeah, it was crazy, but I really enjoyed the team that I was working with at Health. I can't say anything negative about anybody. And I've also worked with you also, which was a good experience too. But yeah, that's all I have to say. And to my families out there who I still stay in contact with and go out and do things for them still, even though I'm not working, but I'm still there and they know I'm there. So, yeah,
Well,
okay.
thank you. Thank you again. Good. Okay, let's do the adoption of the agenda. Nathan has just one to add. There's no other things to in the agenda. Is there a mover? Moved by Audrey, second by Lena. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. So before we get started, so don't see our first delegation here. So I just want to, Dale graciously is going to take over the chair for the end. I am going to go to my son's birthday party that started at 6 o'clock. And I just wanted to come to present the plaques to the retirees and just to be here and say thank you. So can I have a mover for Dale to take the chair? Moved by Elena, second by Amos. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Sina? Okay, go ahead, Dale. Thank you.
Okay, item number 5 on the agenda, item 5.1, I guess, is the delegation that they're not here. From Jean Paul, Brantford Red Sox Baseball Club. Is there any comments? They're not here, right? Oh, okay. So while they're checking. So their request is requesting a special ceremonial presentation from Chief and/or council to present a welcoming gift to a new team entering the league from Chatham, Kent area. So someone's just gone to the lobby to check to see if they're out there. And we do have a recommendation that the elected council delegate blank to present a welcoming gift to the Brantford Red Sox field, Cockshut Park, 35 Sherwood Drive, on May 17th at 7:30. So we'll see if anybody comes in. We'll give them a couple minutes. Nobody here? I know in the Dropbox, I don't know if you've seen it, there was some notes in there. But I guess, is there anybody wishing to go up and do the presentation? I don't know what the chief's schedule was like. Was it? Okay, Dean has offered, so we can have someone moved to have Dean attend. Moved by Hazel, seconded by Amos. All in favor? Okay, carried. So the elected council delegate Dean Hill to present a welcoming gift at the Brantford Red Sox field on Cockshut Road on May 17th at 7:30. Thank you, Dean. Item number 2, we're on the grand, and I see Ellie is here, so Ellie can come forward and do your presentation. And she wants to formally invite Chief and Council to join their annual paddle on the grand. So have a seat, Ellie, and then the floor is yours.
Thank you for your time today. I think I know just about everybody that's here in the room. Some of you I haven't seen in a while, but I grew up on the reserve here, Mohawk Turtle, lived on the Grand River and spend probably 80% of my time on the river. What I would
Thank
like
you, Ellie.
is to introduce you to a project that started actually several years ago after a paddle that I was involved with on the Hudson River, and it was called two-row renewal campaign. The purpose of that was to remind ourselves, our Haudenosaunee people, and to remind each other and our neighbors around us that the two-row wampum was being forgotten. And so during that commemorative paddle on the Hudson River, we paddled in 2 rows, the Haudenosaunee on one side and the Allied and settlers on the other side. It was a 16-day paddle, and it was very transformative to me. There were a couple of other community members that participated, and a friend of mine from Simcoe also participated, and we were so touched, so transformed, so moved by that, we thought we would bring it to the Grand River. And so in 2016, we had our first paddle on the Grand. Initially, we thought it would only be 1 year. What had happened during that final day when we were down at Port Maitland, we had a sharing circle, and many of our people were telling us how much it changed them for them to be able to celebrate their culture, to learn more about their culture, to develop trust and friendship with our ally community. So it really empowered us. We decided we would do it another year. And now here we are, 2024, this is year 9. And we're at a pivotal point now. Year 10 will be either go big or go home. So we're kind of looking at this as how can we sustain the project that we think is so worthwhile. So on the PowerPoint here that we have, just want to let you know as we go through, myself is one of the co-founders, and on the right here is Jay Bailey, the other co-founder. He participated in the Hudson as well. And you can see that there's a settler member and an ally, or ally settler member and a Haudenosaunee. So we were the ones that co-founded this. We're very organic. We're very grassroots. We don't do this for profit, and we are all volunteers. What we want to do, as you see in the 3rd bullet there, is to rekindle the friendship that we once had and to reestablish it and take a look at the ways of being, the ways of culture, the ways of connecting together. And we see all of these things happen. As I mentioned here, we are doing this, by volunteer only. Our organizational structure, we do not have a president, vice president, etc. We do this by working as a circle. Nobody's voice is above the other. We listen to each other and we make negotiations where we need until we are finally coming to a general consensus. We really focus on the community here, and what we want to do is to give back to Six Nations community. So just about everything we do, everything we purchase, everything we have to support us along the way comes from the community. So local hiring, we don't pay a lot of people, but we do engage speakers from the community. Any vendors that we have, I have to let you know, my shirt here has been made by Joe Martin. We get a lot of our merchandise through him. Our caterer is a local caterer, bless her heart. She starts in Cambridge and she feeds us twice a day, all the way along, delivering her food to us and right down to Port Maitland. So other resources coming from the community. We've also relied a lot on Six Nations Health Services in the past, and we're trying to continue that reciprocity. What we've been doing with health services is to work along with clients that are with health services, and they support their clients as we paddle along the Grand River. Little bit of a structure is happening with health services this year. They've lost quite a few people who are support paddlers, etc. And so we're kind of weak here in that piece of how we can engage community. One of the benefits of this, as I had mentioned before, long-lasting friendships And just to be able to understand and appreciate and respect each other, like the Tura Wampum says, in peace, friendship, and respect. So a typical day starts with the Thanksgiving address. We paddle for a certain number of hours. We have lunch. Sometimes we camp at lunch, depending on the itinerary for the day. We paddle some more in the afternoon if needed. And then when we set up camp for the night, we have cultural teachings. Those can be anything from dance demonstrations, crafts, environmental concerns, and we really try and engage the interest of everyone. So I've got the website up there. Also, I think the brochure has come around to you, so there is the website there. The scan code will take you to our Facebook page and also to some of our two-row educational talks that we have had from members of our community. You can actually go to our Facebook page and our private YouTube to watch those. That's a picture of Jay Bailey. On the morning of our first day's paddle, he's instructing people. He's generally the person to give out the logistics for the day. Sometimes we have really skilled paddlers, sometimes not, but we all help each other out and move our way down the river. So this year, we will be starting on the 24th and putting into the river at Cambridge, and we'll be paddling, winding things down on August the 2nd, 2024. And we would like to extend a formal invitation to the chief and council to join us in honoring our river. And I have to say that Helen here has been at Port Maitland many years in a row to come and watch us paddle in. Be really nice to see our community members come down and see this happen. How can elected council help? We'd really like you to join us at the paddle. When we were on the Hudson River, I remember going through some of the villages and towns, cities, and I remember really, really vividly when the Dakota riders, North Dakota Spirit riders, were riding in their horses. They lined up on the river. They were cheering us on. And this was about day 12 of the paddle, and it really gave us incentive to continue. When we go through Six Nations Reserve, we'll be spending one night on a community or private property here in the community. We'll be taking people to the powwow, and then we will be paddling into Chuswood Park on this Sunday. It would just be really, really nice to see some community members support us as we paddle under the bridge and go through. I know Dean has participated in this during COVID on his bicycle. And it was just really, really a nice engagement, I think, with community to support the people who are coming through and to welcome our visitors. Most of the visitors that are from the surrounding community have known really nothing about us. This is news for a lot of our people, so it's nice to share and have them feel welcome. The other thing we were talking about was really having a celebration of some kind at Port Maitland. And as you know, we have that small piece of property down at Port Maitland. There's enough room for our porta potties and a food tent, not too close together, but we celebrate the fact that we're finished. We say our goodbyes, and it's really a really nice way to engage with folks. So it would be nice if we could have, again, members from the community and council members to come in and close the ceremony along with us. Another ask I would like, Joe Martin has had engagement with us here and there. A request to have him participate as part of council business to support in any kind of traditional knowledge sharing that he would be so inclined to do, particularly the Thanksgiving address, as we do this each day. We have trained first aid people on the water. We have safety paddlers. That's one of our key goals, is to keep everyone safe. What we do not have is an AED. And we looked at the prices and they're about $1,600. It's not necessary that we purchase one, I hope, to have it sitting around for the other, 355 days of the year, but we were wondering if we could possibly have an AED either donated or loaned to us, and a refresher demonstration on its use. In the past, with health services, we've had buses bringing our community members to and from the sites. Some of them don't camp overnight. They have family responsibilities at home. And we've had that in the past where a health bus was able to do that for us. We can't do that this year. It's not scheduled in the dialogue that's going on right now. We are hoping that this could be supported by council. Financial support. Last year, we were given the organization $1,500 grant. I would like to apply for that again. And that was really helpful to support our transportation costs. We do have a couple of transportation costs by bus. So we have a circuit going from Cockshut Bridge to the Mush Hole, where we camp overnight at Mohawk Memorial Park, and then to take them back to the Cockshut in the morning. It's too long a walk for us to do. And then, of course, taking people in a circuit to the powwow and back to the private property. So that last year was really, really helpful for us. An option to sponsor meals. It's a large cost. As we all know, groceries are a lot more expensive than they were even 6 months ago. Inflation just keeps coming up higher and higher. As I had mentioned before, we do have a local caterer passing through the territory. Donation of vessels. By this I mean, I know that health promotion does have some program canoes and kayaks. If it were possible, that we would be able to use them for community members so that we don't have to try and support them by renting them. They are not cheap to rent, understandably so, but if these could be somehow loaned to us for the paddle, that would be really great and help us with costs for our registrants and for our safety paddlers. Lee Thompson, the council event coordinator, we're asking if she could be permitted to attend to gather at Chiefswood Park to help support us in coordinating something, or at Port Maitland, or both. And Chastity Venivri as well, permitted to attend to the gathering as well. So as I had mentioned, inflationary pressures are really high, extreme. We do a lot of fundraising, but it certainly is not something that we can, we can't sustain community members in the way that we would like. And it's really, like I said, a year-round commitment to us. And we're just hoping that we could get some support from council. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I know everyone wants to get out of here early, but
Thank you, Ellie. Is there any questions for Ellie that someone wants to ask? Okay, Hazel? Hazel, then Dean.
Ellie, ever since you've been started into your presentation this evening, I've wondered, there's 2 dams that you just have to contend with, right?
yes,
How do you maneuver your boat around those dams?
good question. We carry them, we portage them around.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So, and that builds community
Mhm.
because we're helping each other to carry. So we walk and we lift and we carry.
Good.
you plan on coming? We can help you.
I probably drowned.
Hey, Dean, get your mic, Hazel.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Ellie. This is great, honestly. I want to just ask a quick question. Just when does registration start up and how long does registration last before the cutoff date?
Time is ticking now. Our website, we don't put registration through all year because it cost us to use the platform that we do. So it did open in March 13th, I think, and we will close it when it's full. It's starting to ramp up there now. And we're hoping that everyone will be registered, et cetera, by the 13th of June. And then that gives us time to tell our caterers and our campgrounds, et cetera, the numbers that they need. But it is filling up very quickly, always does.
Perfect, thank you very much. And I just want to let council know as well in the community that just my participation in this event was amazing. And it's not just, you know, physical fitness, it's actually like a good healing journey going along the entire Grand River, as long with learning some of the history along the way. It's really, really cool. Thanks.
Hey, Cynthia, did you have a question?
Sir, you had a number of items, or just so we have a sense of what was, do you have like a total cost of that? Because you have like registrations and meals and
We do have a 2023 financial, we do have that. Registration this year is $85 per person, which when you think about it is really, really minimal. You know, and that includes 3 meals a day. It includes the educational speakers that come in. There is some transportation involved, et cetera. So, you know, $85 for a whole day. And then if you need to rent a canoe or kayak, that is extra. We are trying to keep the costs really low, but we do have a 2023 financial, which explains all of our costs.
Yeah, use your mic, Cynthia.
the bus, the use of the health bus. Is that at the beginning and the end, or is it?
The way it was used in previous years is we had community members who, you know, preferred to go home each night. And so I believe what happened is they were picked up in the village or at their home. They had a meeting place and they would be transported. So the health person, like whoever was driving that bus, would pick them
Yes,
up,
Audrey, I see it.
take them to the place where we were launching for the day, and then they would return in the evening to take them home. So we're not able to do that, and we relied with much appreciation on that service for our folks.
Ellie, if you can get closer to your mic, because we have some people online, they may not be able to hear you. Thank you. Question, Elena? No? Greg, I see your hand up there. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, hi Ellie. Sorry I couldn't be there in person to hear your presentation. I just had a couple questions. I actually live along the river, so I see you guys paddling nearby. It's always good to see. I just wanted to, for my background, is to get the number of participants, and if you have enough equipment, basically for your participants, or do they rent, or is there an extra cost if they have to rent the equipment? I know tourism has equipment and ECDEV have equipment, but they use it, I guess, for the participants at Chiefswood Park. The thing is that to offset some of these costs, is it passed down to the participants at all?
We, Six Nations Health Services, as I said before, will bear the costs. We're used to bear the costs of renting vessels. That hasn't been offered to us this year. And we do have about 6 community vessels that Turo on the Grand has in our possession, and safety equipment. We have that in our possession.
So
But other
you're-
than that, it is an additional cost.
Just to follow up, Dale. Yeah, So do you have a basic budget of costs that you may require help, say, from either donations from the community? Because I know you're looking for volunteers as well from the community to help out. Would there be a cost that you'd present to council? Oh,
Our volunteers, I think we're full with our volunteer numbers. We can only take so many. And we do charge our volunteers to pay for their meals. So even though they are volunteering, we ask that if they can pay for their meals. So I hope that answers your question.
yeah, great, thank you.
Go ahead, Audrey.
Thank you, Ellie. Nice to see you again. I think it's a great thing that you're doing with Jay and all the rest of your team. And I guess is along the same lines as Greg, I'd like to know how much you're looking for from council to support this initiative you're doing. Have
It's
you-
not a dollar amount, really. It's more what council programs have that they may be able to support us with for the purpose of the paddle.
So would you welcome any donations from council in funding?
Absolutely. And I have to say that the trust fund has supported us very generously in years past, and it's been really helpful to what we do with that donation is we fund our community participants. So this year we have funding for 15 community members, and we also have budget for our community speakers who come to give their teachings to us. So it's honoraria for them.
I have a follow-up, Dale, please.
Go ahead. Then
I
Helen.
think it's a good idea that we donate some money to them, and I'd like to recommend that we donate $2,000. Or do you need more, Ellie?
Look at that smile. I'll smile back.
Yes, you do, okay? How about $5,000 and to help with the initiative and pay for food and whatever else you need to do, and maybe those volunteers won't have to pay for their own meals. So that's my motion,
Is that a
Dale.
motion, Audrey?
Yes, I am, sir.
Someone want to second that motion? Seconded by Dean. All in favor of that motion? Question? Go ahead, Elena.
My question was, well, I guess maybe a suggestion to the mover and seconder, because there was other things that were required or asked for, like the AED. I don't know if we have something like that available to loan. But I'm wondering if we could accept as information, and then once we have a list of what we can offer, and where the money is going to come from, then we can move that at maybe general finance.
Okay, thank you. Let's have, well, the motions, it's on the floor now, so the mover and the seconder, Elena has made a request to maybe defer it to a later meeting. I don't know what you. Are you comfortable with that, Audrey? Just to gather more information, and I was thinking along the same lines as Elena as well. I was gonna ask if Ellie could present her budget to Nathan, then he can go over, because I think there's some administrative things that you're asking for too, that Nathan would have and be in charge of, so I was wondering if we could defer that till, yeah, we got more information.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that Nathan had enough time. So yes, I don't mind deferring it, and then we'll get a list of what Ellie's group need and go from there.
I think she
Thank
went
you.
over a lot of stuff, and we can let Nathan look at it. Hazel, just Helen will go first, and then you can finish up. Okay? Helen and then Hazel. Okay, go ahead, hey Hazel.
I was just gonna mention that Health and Safety had purchased, well, not purchased. We got a bunch of those AEDs when I was in HR. So I'm just wondering, is there some sitting someplace where it's not being utilized?
Yeah, that's something I was thinking of, have Nathan look into in relation to those. Go ahead, Helen.
Yeah, I just, like Ellie says, I've kind of participated on the sidelines for a few years. I think I've been to most of the campsites that they've had. Um, um, I, I don't know what's making me think, but I thought, did council not donate money before? I thought we donated $10,000 a few years, over the years, did we not? I thought we did. Maybe it was health, but yeah. It's a good thing. It's really a good thing. I wish more people would participate. I know when they first started, there was a lot of people from the reserve participating and they kind of dwindled. And I wished more people would participate. I wished I could do it, but I can't. Do all the kayak down the river. But it's really interesting. I've been at some of them. I remember that one we were at, what's that club in Bradford when we stopped there?
Oh, the Knights of
Knights
Columbus.
of Columbus had a real nice lunch and stuff like that. And so it's all happens all the way down in Port Maitland. It's nice when you get there to see them coming in. I remember a couple of years ago, I went on the bridge, Chiefswood Bridge, and I waited for them to come. And there was two great big long lines coming, like a two row. That's why it's called a two row, because there are two big long lines. And you could see it for a long ways away, and I took a picture and I put it on the Facebook and it went viral. Everybody thought it was so easy to see all those canoes, and a lot of people had asked what it was. So it was kind of like an educating tool as well, and I tell people what it was. So it's a good thing. I really like it. I really support this tour on the Grand. And I hope we can do whatever
you.
we can to help them with whatever their costs are. I know it's costs have risen and all that, so I just hope we can do something.
Thank you. So Ellie, if you can gather your information, I know we've seen your list on your PowerPoint there. Gather some of that information, provide it to Nathan, because I know there's some things that Nathan can deal with within his level there, but outside of that, then we'll look at some financials or whatever, and he can check into their equipment wise, I guess, in relation to what's may be available, or maybe they don't have it anymore, so, but he can check into all of that. So if you can provide that to Nathan, then Nathan can bring it back to us.
Thank you.
Already?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellie. Shirley?
So Chair, since there's a motion on the floor, did they agree to
Yeah,
withdraw?
they withdrew. They agreed to withdraw it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Item number 6 on the agenda is the adoption of general council minutes from April 9, 2024. I think they're in your Dropbox. So if anybody's have read them, and if they're comfortable to move, can do so. Moved by Carrie to accept the minutes from April 9th from 2024. Audrey is seconding. All in favor of that? No objections? See none? Carried. Item number 7 is the update from the chiefs. I don't know if we're deferring that. Or. Oh, okay, we're gonna have her, one of her assistants read her or provide the update on the chief's office.
Thank you, Chair. Unfortunately, Chief had to leave, but we are delivering this report on her behalf. So the first item, the introductory meeting with Collier's project leaders. So for information, on April 10th, the Chief's office met with Collier's project leaders. Essentially, they want Six Nations to know that they offer infrastructure advisory services, construction solutions, and project management services. The First Nation team in the virtual meeting mentioned that their understanding of the need to achieve equitable funding for First Nations projects is large. They also mentioned that they provide support in completing funding applications, tender packages, and the subsequent reporting that is required once funding is secured. Secondary, the next item is introductory meeting with Mayor Shelley Ann Bentley of Haldeman County. So, also on April 10th, Chief Hill met with Mayor Bentley about building positive relationships and potential ways that our communities and leadership may come together to collaborate on matters of mutual benefit or need. Also on April 10th, Chief Hill met with a community member who expressed concerns about illegal dumping, setting environmental issues. So this community member also facilitated an intro meeting with a local historian. So all of the information that was shared within this has been passed along to Nathan and or the CAP team to facilitate follow-up. So thank you on behalf of Chief Hill to the community members for reporting this to Six Nations of Grand River Elected Council. So moving on to another item, the GTA presence is increasing. So just to provide an update, the chief's office has been informed that the land acknowledgement that's given at the start of Toronto Maple Leafs home games in Toronto now includes mention of the Haudenosaunee along the historical acknowledgement of the Huron-Wendat, the Mississaugas, and the Anishinaabe. So that's a good change there. So this is a testament to the progress and the increasing knowledge about Six Nations historical relationship with the land in the GTA area or Dish with One Spoon Treaty.
Yeah, and that's in follow-up to the chief's meeting with Mayor Chow, who had also indicated support for increasing that awareness through various means. The chief also met with Minister Tibolo, who visited Ashwegan on Wednesday, April 17th. He is the Associate Minister for Mental Health and Addictions. Chief Hill welcomed the minister for his visit and held a discussion with him about the need for integrated mental health support programming in the community. Six Nations has our own mental health professionals, but we need our programming integrated in a comprehensive way. The Ontario government is building what are called youth wellness hubs, which are part of what is called the Youth Wellness Hub Network. And the meeting was to discuss the potential of possibly having one here in the community run by Six Nations as a community. The minister committed to have someone from CAMH, the Center for Addictions and Mental Health, to reach out to us to further identify community needs.
Great, thank you. And so just as information to council and the community, Chief Hill is pleased to announce that Hydro One will be joining us here in the council chambers on May 29th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. to engage with community members. So Hydro One will be here and they will be available to provide support for the Ontario Electricity Support Program, to provide support for having tax exemption and delivery charges removed, answer billing related questions, and provide any payment assistance information. So Chief Hill is encouraging all interested parties to attend and take advantage of this opportunity and speak directly with Hydro One reps.
And the last item is that the chief's office has recently been informed that there is yet more illegal dumping occurring at the Oneida Business Park. A community member alerted us to the issue, and the chief says that she's grateful for the information. If anyone in the community has any information on dumping at any time, to please get in touch with Chief Hill's office. And she would like to express that she would like us all to work together to preserve the community's cleanliness and safety. Now,
Thank you. Cynthia has a question.
I don't know if it's Claire, Chris, I think Claire, meeting with Hydro One and arranging for the meeting here in May 29th, the 10th. In that meeting, was there an expression of the concern from across community members across the board here with the just seem undue delay for the hydro hookups? And will someone be attending to address those sorts of concerns?
Go ahead, Claire.
Thank you, Cynthia. So it was just information that they are coming here and community can kind of come and meet with them. There hasn't been a formal meeting per se. Does that answer your question?
I mean, I'm understanding, the chief met with Hydro One? Oh, I thought there was a meeting.
Oh, no, sorry.
And then as a result of the meeting, they're coming here. It was just to set up.
Yeah, no, the meeting was facilitated through staff actually, and I believe it was, in response to something that was raised by Counselor Miller. A request, I believe so.
Yeah. I wonder, since representatives are coming, if they could have someone a little higher up. So we could, remember we were having, I can't remember, I think it was housing and I can't remember who all else. But just really, it sounded like undue delays in the whole projects. And I think even social services, those units are building, they were ready way last spring. But because of the delay, it was, and we are in this housing crisis, that would be a good opportunity if that's possible.
Okay, I think Nathan has comment.
Yeah, I just want to comment. So the process that Claire is speaking of is kind of a reoccurring process that we do to bring in the folks from Hydro One to help community members come in and facilitate some of their issues with their billing and whatnot. The issues you're speaking of, I did a few months ago reach out to the higher ups at Hydro One. And the report I got back was, and this is Hydro One speaking, I'm not giving excuses for them, but they indicated that they had a number of high-level staff turnovers in their normal kind of operations, which resulted in the delays. I did reach out maybe 2 weeks ago to get an update, but I haven't heard back. I will reach out again tomorrow to get a further update. But those are the issues that we're working through with the higher ups at Hydro One. They're indicating that they had a number of staff leave and new staff come in that didn't necessarily understand the processes.
Helen?
Yeah, I'm along the lines of Cynthia. We need to get higher up people here. There's gonna be some big issues coming from lands membership regarding hydro. We're getting ready to bring them here with the hydro poles. I don't know if anybody's aware of it, but Hydro's been putting hydro poles on private property instead of the road allowance. And then they tell that private person, if somebody wants to build a house across the road, for example, they tell the homeowner that they can charge those people for using that pole. Anybody that wants to hook up to it. There was an incident not too long ago where it didn't quite work out, but they're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to be on road allowance. They're just getting lazy, so they don't want to have to look after it. Now, there was a hydro pole, 3 hydro poles being put up on Seneca Road Saturday because somebody's going to build a house. The situation. Anyway, I went over there and I talked to that man and I said, I come here. I told him who I was. I said, I'm Counselor Helen Miller and I come over here to make sure you're putting those hydro poles on road allowance. You're not supposed to put it on private property. He said, oh, so you know what's going on? I said, yeah, I know what's going on. So make sure you put them on road allowance. He said, we're putting them on road allowance. But there's a lot of issues like that. And lands membership's running into issues because the one instant where they were asked to use the person's pole, the person said, no, you can't use my pole. Thank goodness the person eventually changed their mind and agreed to let them use the pole, but this is what can happen. I don't know how long they've been putting poles on private property, but I know they're doing it. If you ever drive down the road sometimes and you see new houses or whatever, you can see the hydro line kind of goes like that. It's not straight like it used to be. And it's just laziness. They don't want to have to look after them. It's easier to put it on private property than it is to have to mess with it. And I remember this gentleman on Seneca Road not too long ago come to us because he needed a hydro pole and they put it on his property, and I'm not sure, but I thought I'm pretty sure they were trying to make him pay for it. But it was supposed to be on road allowance and he wouldn't have to pay for it. So there's all kinds of issues. There's other issues with hydro too, like Cynthia said, they're not hooking up people, they're taking a long time. So it's going to be coming from membership, the issues, soon, hopefully. So I would like to see them down here so we can start asking, like, not secretaries or something like that. We need people that make decisions to get down here. There's issues.
Yeah, I have Audrey next, Cynthia, and then you. Go ahead, Audrey.
Okay, thanks. Helen, that kind of leads into what my next comment is. I'd like to know what counselors were invited from health and well-being to go and meet with the minister, Tiboli, on mental health. And the practice we had before in previous councils was when the ministers came down, they were introduced to all the counselors, usually at the council table here, had some refreshments, and then the chief and a couple of counselors would take and show the person the reserve and basically treat them as guests. So I'd like to try to get back to some of those things we did. And it's kind of important because if we're doing these committees, portfolios, whatever you call them, and people are working on them diligently, and then you meet with a minister, it might have been a nice opportunity for that committee, especially the chairs and co-chairs, to meet so that they know what's going on as well and how they can maybe provide more information. And also directors or managers are in there as well. So that's my observation, and I would like to see if we could try and get back to some of the good stuff we used to do because it worked.
Thank you. Cynthia?
Yeah, I'm gonna, like, we talk a lot and we've not done a lot. Now, this has been an ongoing problem, this Hydro One and all their shortfalls. And I was gonna say something else, but it sounds like is it Lands or Lands already have this great big list. And I would like to make a motion to the effect that council arrange for a meeting from upper management of Hydro One and that housing be in attendance and let them go through all their issues they've already noted, I guess, because it's very, very serious. The one that really struck me, not that individuals don't suffer when they can't get their hydro hooked up and move in, but that complex that social services had. Like I thought that was totally outrageous. We're in a housing crisis here. But I'll move that.
So Cynthia's moving the fact, maybe a comment first, Cynthia, then I was on the director's at Clarice, is clarify who's coming from Hydro. And like Nathan said, historically, yeah, they had some people from Hydro One, they would come and sit in the chambers and they would deal with community members who may be struggling with some of their payments, and they would look at financial arrangements to go forward. But I think if it can be more involved with more executive people in relation to dealing with some of these issues that Helen raised, Cynthia's raised in regards to community members' problems for new construction. And I'm well aware of those because I've been through 2 or 3 constructions now in relation to getting a layout. And that's probably the biggest thing, is getting that layout. And nobody can do anything to a house out with hydro until that layout comes. Like, they can construct a house, build it, be ready for drywall, be on it, and ready to mud, but it can sit there because they need heat in there, especially in the winter time. So I'm well aware of those issues. So just before Cynthia's motion gets on, and if we can clarify who's gonna be here and if there's gonna be more senior people, especially particularly if housing is gonna be here to raise their issues. Cynthia?
Yeah, I didn't mean that meeting. That one's understood is already set up and
Okay.
who is coming, and it's for individual community concerns. I meant a special meeting for council to meet with upper management of Hydro One, the decision makers. And at that one have our housing director, manager there with their list of concerns. And it would probably be helpful if in advance of said meeting, that list is sent so that we're here, we expect them here with answers. Otherwise, it's, oh, I'll have to get back because we have to check whatever out is usually what their response is.
Okay, Cynthia has moved that. Audrey, I seen your hand go up. Were you wanting to second that motion?
Yes,
Can't
sir.
hear you, sorry.
Yes, please.
Okay, seconded by Audrey in relation to having, motions on the floor. Any questions, Elena?
I'm wondering if you would want to include not just housing, but public works and even finance, because we had that bigger billing issue.
I certainly would. Whoever the other relevant departments are, it's just, housing came to mind because I think it was somebody over there, you, Dale, said housing already had this list of all the issues they're encountering with, or was it Helen, encountering with hydro. So certainly any departments that, have issues relevant to the appearance of upper management from Hydro One.
Okay. Okay, so the motion's on the floor to have executive. I don't know if that's something you're gonna follow up with, Nathan, once the motion goes through. Is there a comment you want to make prior to voting?
Just for greater clarity on the departments, it would be also inclusive of lands and resources because there is legal proceedings on, so we should get a briefing on that. And I believe it's land and memberships, not housing, correct? So there'll be land and membership included in there, as well as Public Works, who also deals heavily with Hydro One. So it'll be those three departments that will get the various kind of briefings from.
Thank you. Helen?
Yeah, yeah, there's several issues that would be coming from lands membership. There's hydro agreements that, I don't know, they're pretty messed up. So there'd be several issues coming from lands membership. The other one I want to mention is Audrey had asked, like, prior to other councils, like Ava Hills Council or Achievement Tours Council. And
Helen, I was wondering if we can finish up with the motion first. And I know that's another issue in regards to communications, I guess, in regards to when people are coming from the province or feds, and we can talk about that. But I think if we can vote on this motion
Oh,
to
I call
have Cynthia's
question.
request.
Call question.
Amy is calling question. So the motion is, Shirley, if you want to read the motion.
It's moved by Cynthia Jameson, seconded by Audrey Paula Swanberry, that Six Nations of the Grand River Council organize a meeting with the executive team from Hydro One to, and at this time, that issues be addressed by certain of the departments within Six Nations of the Grand River, including Public Works, Lands and Resources, and Lands and Membership. And that the concerns be outlined in advance of the meeting and shared with Hydro.
So that's the motion. All in favor of that motion? See your hands. All in favor? Carried. Motion is carried. I want to do a second reading on that motion so that we can get that rolling.
I'll move.
Moved by Amos, seconded by Cynthia. All in favor? Carried.
This question.
Thank you. Another comment from Amos?
Yeah, Nathan, would it been, or will it be the process then that we bring these groups together to do like a position paper or a briefing note for us? Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay, Hazel and then Cynthia.
I was just gonna say,
Go ahead, Cynthia.
just with the most recent, it might not be a recent concern, but to my ears, what Helen said about them putting poles up, not on the road allowance, that's a huge liability. I don't know if they're being lazy or crafty, more like it. That's a big liability for us. Then they're gonna say, no, we're not responsible for the maintenance of their poles. That's just outrageous. And I don't know, well, I won't go on, but how to remedy that even. And how, I don't know what the count is of how often this has happened.
Yeah, I know some of them are been long standing when they were originally placed, were actually placed off of road lots. I don't know if it was because of ease and there was a trees right along the road, so the homeowner didn't want nothing to do. Nobody removed the trees, so they might have put the line further in line, so I know those, a lot of those have been historical and have been there a long time. Audrey, you have a comment?
Yes, I do.
Sorry,
My
sorry,
comment-
Audrey. Forgot about Hazel. Sorry, Hazel. Go ahead, Hazel.
Okay.
Topic is a little bit different than what we're on. Is Audrey on the same topic?
Audrey, is yours in relation to what we're discussing now?
It's like an overview of it. If
Go
it's
ahead.
right on Hazel, go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna change the
Do it.
subject. Is that okay?
Oh,
Yeah, she's gonna change the subject. That's why we want to know if you want to finish up.
I do, if I can.
Very quickly finish up and then we'll move to Hazel and then Helen has another issue as well.
Yeah, just what was recommended just now by Cynthia is exactly the way that I see us working. You know, when I said a minister comes in and we meet, well, the same thing, we have to do our priorities, find out who we should be talking to, and all the teams, committees or portfolios, whatever you want to refer to them as, then those people are involved in the meeting as well. You know, it's just working smarter, I think, to get people who are involved at the table. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I think Nathan's gonna organize that when he can invite the relevant counselors who may want to attend to those meetings. Okay, so we'll move on. We'll have Hazel quickly and then Helen.
Okay, so based on what Cynthia said, we do a lot of talking, but not a whole lot of action. I'm bringing this topic back again because I think we need to get proactive quickly. And it's about tax. I mentioned that in yesterday's meeting. The one lady, well, I got a call today. They want to meet with me to show me all of their documentation. The excise tax that is on deliveries to the reserves, it's huge. And then the carbon tax as well. I'm thinking that if we make a stand to get a meeting with the minister and start fighting this huge tax, it is huge. It's not just those two, because we do the GST, we do so many taxes and we're not supposed to be doing that. And I want us to get proactive and have a meeting with the minister. And hopefully we can somehow initiate a start for all First Nations to jump on board, maybe with the Iroquois caucus, I don't know. But I think we need to start fighting back on that matter because the government is, they're so, I hate to say it, but I'm going to. It's almost like they're devious. You think you're hid a little bit and they come in the back door with some other idea to get more money out of the native people. So rather than just say, yeah, we should do that, I want us to say, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's invite the minister. And I'll make that recommendation. Thanks.
So are you making it a motion or just a recommendation to act on?
A motion.
So Hazel wants to move that Six Nations elected council communicate with the minister's office, I guess be the Minister of Finance. We can let Christopher clarify that, I guess, in relation to who it has to be to get the individuals here. So Hazel has moved it. Does someone want to second that motion? Seconded by Cynthia. All in favor of that motion? Okay, okay, motion's carried. Christopher, you have a comment in relation to that?
I was just going to confirm that that was the Minister of Finance. We had actually reached out to the minister's office quite a while ago to pursue a meeting and had not secured a follow-up meeting to the conversation that Chief Mark had with her about that, but certainly can reiterate that request.
Okay, now you have a motion to go with that. Cynthia, comment?
Maybe when you're talking to the office, let them know if the minister, the sitting minister will not meet, then I guess we need to speak with the opposition. It's a big issue across Canada, that whole carbon tax.
Yeah,
I mean, we have more issues, but I mean, that's a huge issue.
yeah, it's an issue that we're actually raising with basically everybody we meet.
Helen, did you want to go back to your comment you made earlier?
Yeah, because mine was along the same lines, I guess. I agree with Hazel. Get the Minister of Finance. Now, we've never met with the Minister of Finance, not council. And I think we need to do that. I also just wanted to remind council, previous councils, whenever a minister came to Six Nations, the chief would take them on a tour and then they'd come back to the chambers and we'd all be here and we'd meet with the minister. And we could all, if we had any issues we wanted to talk to, we could raise it with the minister. It wasn't just the chief meeting the minister. It was council when they come here. So I want to get back to that practice of meeting with, like Chris said, I know Mark met with the Minister of Finance, but council never met with them. We got to start meeting with these ministers so we can, I think you're better in numbers, right? That's what I always thought anyway. So that's just what I wanted to say. We got to get back to doing these, and I'm expecting you two, which are political advisors, to make sure these are being followed as well. You know what I mean? Make sure it's being followed. It's different when you're going to a conference where there's a bunch of ministers, when you know, but when they come to the community, they should be meeting with full council.
And we're certainly open
So-
to that, of course,
Yeah,
but we have to
that's just
coordinate
what I
everything
wanna get
through the
back
chief
to. Yeah.
as well, so. Just a note on that one meeting with Minister Tibolo, that was at first proposed quite a long time ago before the committee existed. And so the chief ended up running into the minister at the She Is Wise conference, and they were having a chat there. And this meeting was basically a follow-up to that private chat that they had, a continuation of that chat. Otherwise, you know, now that there's a committee, we could certainly loop in the committee. Tibolo. Yep.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
Remember that meeting we went to in Toronto last fall? We all just got in and a bunch of us wanted to go. It was the annual ISK meeting. He was there. It was supposed to be the annual ISK meeting, but there has been a huge departure from what was the usual ISK meeting. This one, you can see that transformation over to the province because there's Tibolo speaking away instead of the Minister of Health. But anyways, that he was there.
Thank you. Yeah, I think what Helen's referring to is more communication with the council. Not so much a particular committee, but with council. They stay informed on who's coming to and fro from council, particularly the officials. So I think that's what Helen's referring to, that communication. You have a comment, Clarice?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that, Deb Jonathan, the Director of Health, was able to kind of, well, one, attend the meeting, to speak to anything, because that is the area. And then two, really quickly give us a briefing on what was needed beforehand, and then also join with the chief.
Okay, Amos has,
I just wanted to know, Nathan, do we have experts or talent or staff members that are on top of the taxation issues in our council? Okay. I just want to share a little story. I got to go and meet with Mark Miller when he just got in with our new chief, Mark Hill. I was with Nathan. They dragged me along to this meeting because I know Mark Miller. So anyway, it was great because Mark reminded him that we have to talk about that huge excise issue with GRE. I was so happy Mark did that. I almost kicked him under the table. I was so happy because, and then all of his staff were just like writing it down. But I never heard anything more from that. And I don't know if we kept on top of that. That's why I asked the question whether we had staff that could look into that excise tax that we're paying to the federal government for having employment on our reserve and building cigarettes on this reserve. Yet we're sending 355 million a year now to Ottawa each year. Maybe we should get GRE to give us the money and then we remit it. At least our name will be on the invoice, I mean, on the receipt as a council. Maybe this was something we start with and work with GRE on that. Or we deduct what we need to run this reserve. If it's 100 million, then we send them 255 million. Think about it. Point to ponder.
Yeah, I think the discussions have been around a long time. Helen, you have a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say Chief Mark Hill, he did a lot of work on the excise tax. He was doing as much as he could to try to do, to get us doing, he did a lot. But the council itself over the years, we've not sat down and talked about taxes. We never did anything when they start charging the carbon tax on our gas bill. We just, we didn't do anything. Nobody did, even the chiefs of Ontario and the AFN. Somebody told me the AFN approves the carbon tax on the reserve. So we never talked about them different taxes, but I know Chief Hill did a lot of work on the excise tax. So at least we were starting to do something, so I agree. We gotta sit down and talk about all these taxes coming here. It's terrible on our gas bill. Our little weeny gas company struggling to get, struggling to stay in business, and we're struggling, we're the poorest people in the country and we're struggling to do all the stuff and they're putting all these taxes on us. And if our gas company went out of business, we wouldn't have, what would we do? Like, we'd have to all go on propane, I guess, but then the carbon tax is on propane too. Anyway, I'm just glad, I think it's time we did sit down and start doing stuff about tax.
Yeah.
Amos?
Yeah, because all the years I grew up on this reserve, I always knew it as a tax-free zone. A tax-free zone. So I don't know what happened where we kind of changed and started accepting all of this. Even the rise in taxes, I mean, on gas last week, how much of that was tax? We didn't even look at that, so.
14 cents.
14 cents, oh my God, okay. Anyway, I agree with Helen, we need to find some experts to help us with negotiating this quagmire of taxes.
Yeah, I think it was discussed the other day where they changed the name to charges or something. I don't know if Christopher made that comment. They just changed the name of it, but the end result is still coming out of your pocket. Is there any more?
Comment, just a little
okay.
comment.
Okay, go ahead.
I heard Premier Ford is mad because people are calling it a carbon tax, and he's telling everybody, you gotta use the right name. It's not a carbon tax. What the heck is it called?
It's,
Carbon pricing?
yeah,
something?
it's not Premier Ford, it's the Prime Minister.
Is it the
And-
Prime Minister? I
yeah,
knew
and-
somebody was
And
out.
that's exactly right. The federal government is mandating banks to list it as not as carbon tax, but as carbon charge rebates. So it's very much a federal push to call it a charge because the Indian Act prohibits taxes, it doesn't prohibit charges. So they argue it's not a tax. So it's a bit of linguistic sleight of hand. But I think it's probably worth having a follow-up conversation, maybe at the next PL, about various aspects of this, because there is, as Councillor Miller pointed out, a long history of conversations about this, and we can go into that a bit more, I think.
Okay, is there any more on the chief's update? Okay, one final question from Audrey, then we'll move on. Can't hear you, Audrey.
That's because I just turned my mute on. I said, we've talked about these priorities in the past, in recent past, and we keep talking about them. And we said we were going to meet at political liaison meetings, and that's where we would bring them all out to the table, and then we would prioritize what we're going to be working on first, or things that can be worked on at the same time. So that's what I would like to see. We need to start discussing where we're going and how we're going to get there. Okay, so let's get back to what we agreed to do before, or do I need to make a motion of it?
I think that
Gail, what
plan
do
is
you
already
think?
there when you want to look at going back into the political liaisons to look more at strategies, how council can move forward and deal with some of these issues.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cynthia?
In that vein, twice. I have sent, am I sending it to the wrong person? I let council know, cause I'll get something and I'll send it to council, but I copy Nathan and I think Shirley, and I said, can we put this on the whatever agenda? And it never came. That's what I thought this political liaison was about, like that Diapo guy. He said somebody from an energy company got a hold of him and wants to know if the Iroquois caucus would be part of this initiative. So that's what I sent, because I'm thinking, well, council needs to know about this and discuss it and see, do they want to, as part of the Iroquois caucus or by their own self, be part of the initiative? I don't know, but those kind of things. Am I doing that right, or how do I get stuff on?
Nathan or Shirley, comment on that?
That was yesterday.
Yesterday, but there was another one about a month ago and I never heard no more about it. So I'm wondering if I'm not doing it right. I can't remember what the other one was. Oh, I know what it was. Remember when I went to that Chiefs of Ontario Chiefs Council meeting? And what I forwarded that, and that was in February, I forwarded that, so could you put this on the council agenda? Because what it was are the draft terms of reference, because you're looking at restructuring. I asked for that to be put on, then I forgot about it till I sent that one, and I thought maybe I'm not going about this the proper way because it never did come up.
Okay, thank you. Can you have a look into those, Shirley, just so we can get them on the next political liaison? Okay, moving on to item number 8, and thanks, guys. Item number 8 is scheduling. Shirley?
You can send it to Brooke and myself.
I guess one thing we need to clarify was, I guess Dean's email in regards to, should they be going to a committee first, or are these just strictly, discussions we wanna have at political liaison? Or whether they need to go to a community or a committee first, sorry. Okay, all right, so anything that's coming forward in can go to Shirley and Brooke. I don't know if you wanna CC Nathan at the same time, and then they can feather it out to whoever, whether it goes to a committee or it can come to council. Okay, thank you. Next item was scheduling, and I didn't see nothing written there. So there was nothing scheduling. I know we got a meeting, are you planning that one for Thursday or Friday? Oh, that's an internal discussion anyways, okay. But other than that, there's really nothing for scheduling. So item number 9 on the agenda is reports from counselors. Helen has a report.
Yeah, I attended the Chiefs of Ontario Leadership Council on behalf of Chief Hill on Monday? What's today? No, Thursday or Friday, I can't remember. Wednesday? I don't know. I attended it anyway, a couple of days ago. So I found it a little bit difficult because most of the issues I wasn't aware of. So I couldn't, because council had never ever discussed them, so I couldn't really participate in saying anything, but I am doing a report. Hopefully by the end of the week.
Anyone else? Nothing. And I know on 9B, there's a report from political liaison, but I don't think anything came forward at this time. So if there's anything, Shirley can follow up with that and make sure we get it processed. And I think we had one new business, which was Nathan.
So I just wanted to inform the community of a closure. We do have closure of Genios Health Center building. Yesterday, we had a meeting and a number of our health and safety inspectors went into the building, came back with a report, and that we discovered in a number of areas the evidence of mold within the building. So we, just as a precautionary measure, we made the determination to close the building until further notice so that we can do the inspections. And this is really in relation to the health and safety of not only the staff, but also the patients going into the building. So the building is closed as of yesterday. And I got to really hand it to the leadership within the health and wellness department, because they've quickly started planning and making arrangements to have those services that were at Ganyos moved over to White Pines. So we are confident that on Monday, April 29th, the Ganyos Medical Clinic, the MRAN Clinic, laboratory services, public health, and sexual health clinics will be up and running at White Pines. We will be sending out a notice later this week to give you the exact locations of where you can find those services in White Pines. We're also putting signs up at White Pines to direct our patients to where those services will now be located. I am going to say that the closure is indefinite until we do our inspections and find out the best course of action to remediate the mold that's in that building. The other aspect I wanted to let the community know, if you do have questions and you have questions about the services you may have had, we did send out a notice, but we also opened up a phone line for community members to call and answer their questions. So that number is 519-761-9058, and that'll take you to Six Nations Public Health. That number again is 519-761-9058.
And that's just joint business hours, right? Would you have 8:30 to 4?
That's correct. Sorry. Yes. 8:30 to 4, that line will be open.
Helen, have a comment?
When we run into situations like this, is it possible to make a thing on the radio to come on every 4 hours or something like that to let people know what's going on? Just to keep reminding people?
Yes, we are making those arrangements tomorrow to get on the radios and make sure that we buy the ads. And I haven't talked to the chief's office yet, but I'm going to try and steal some time Friday to do the update as well.
Okay, Amos, you got or Carrie, so Carrie has a comment.
Nate, would someone be checking to find out why all the mold is suddenly appearing? Like you had housing or lands and membership a couple weeks ago. Now you got this today. Is there something is maintenance not being kept up, or is there something else?
Yeah, so we are doing our inspections across the board to find out some of those aspects of things like the acres report that are required through small capital weren't done over COVID. The last one that was done is 2017. And I did talk to our Director of Public Works, and he has indicated that those reports have restarted, and I can expect to see those momentarily. So those are some of the aspects. So I don't want to blame it all on COVID, but those are some of the things that we're going in. The other aspect is when I did start, I did ask our occupational health and safety manager to do an inspection of all of the buildings. So some of those findings are starting to come back as well.
Amos?
Yeah, I have lots of questions about this because I've been reading and hearing documentaries. Could this be a result of global warming? Like there seems to be changes around our environment, and can we attribute that to global warming? And will they be able to tell you that? I guess that's what you're going to ask, eh, Nathan?
Those are some of the questions we are asked, because that's one of the areas where I think there's been a gap is looking at it from that climate aspect of things. I know just in particular to Ganyos, there was issues identified with a leaky roof as well as the membrane. And I do want to kind of also remind that Ganyos building is federal buildings. So it is under federal jurisdiction. But our staff are there and our clients are from our community. So that was part of that determination from a service perspective to get them into a better building. I have had ISC on the line on a number of areas, and we'll be requesting coming up with a report for council's consideration. That report will indicate a number of areas within the community where we need to kind of do this remediation and repairs for our buildings. Once that report's done, definitely working and would work with council to get a meeting with the appropriate federal representatives to do the advocacy piece.
Thank you, Nathan. Gary, you have another comment?
Maybe inspection on the machinery end, like the HRV and furnace and, yeah, okay.
Any other comments? So Nathan will have a follow-up with us as soon as he gets more information. One more comment?
Yeah, sorry, I did fail to mention that we are still looking for a suitable place, and I think we have one just for the dental clinic. But again, that information will be confirmed later this week, so I'll put that out in another public release.
Thank you. Yeah, so the next item is number 10, which is motion to adjourn. Moved by Elena, seconded by Carrie, all in favor? Carrie.
On everybody.
Thank you. Everybody have a good night, and thanks for the community members for joining. Thank you.